Hi, I'm Mara from the Mental Health and Wellbeing team at the Halifax and Region MFRC. So I am a family wellbeing counselor on our team, and I work with couples and individuals on all different aspects of military life. This is a series of short videos that are about preparing for deployment. In Halifax, we have a lot of ships coming and going, and people are preparing for deployment all the time. And if that's you, you can set up an appointment to come in as a couple and talk to us about how you're going to relate to that time. But these are some things you can do on your own if you just want to jump into it with your partner. So this time, I'm going to talk about love letters. There's something about being apart. People talk about fondness makes the heart grow. No, absence makes the heart grow fonder. So if that energy is present, there's some feeling of like, oh, I'm yearning for my partner. It can be a wonderful time to write a letter. But unfortunately, sometimes we can't send a letter right when we want to. Sometimes the person is somewhere where they can't get a letter. Or maybe we can use morale mail, but it isn't always available depending on where you're going. So if you want to plan ahead to write some letters, it's a little harder because the person's right there. You're just feeling like, oh, well, he's in the living room. It doesn't feel like this big romantic gesture. So here are some thoughts about how you could do that if you want to write letters before your partner leaves to give them for their trip, or if you're going away, you want to leave some letters behind. First of all, some thoughts about what you might want to write letters about. You might want to write a letter for your partner for like, congratulations, you made it to the middle of the deployment, or a letter for a really hard day, or a letter for when you miss the kids, or a letter for the kids for when they miss you. So maybe you want to label some letters and leave them behind or give them to your partner. And in order to be in a headspace to write a letter like that, I recommend going somewhere on your own, sitting down, getting a cup of tea, having some space, giving yourself a little time. And then here's some content ideas, because a lot of us honestly are not writing a lot of love letters in our lives. In this day and age, we're writing a lot of text messages, and lives are pretty fast. So if we're going to try to reconnect with that art, here are some thoughts. One is, I recommend starting really sweet, like less Dear Brad or Dear Janet energy, and more my love, to my dearest one, like to my sweetheart, to my Pookie, whatever you call your person. Start with really connecting in that way. And then I would really recommend thinking about a romantic memory, some kind of recollection, like thinking about this time, I'm remembering this other time. Something that touches into a place of connection from the past. That can be a really great place to start. Then maybe a fantasy of where you'd like to be together in the future. That's another place you could go. Like, right now we're apart, but I'm thinking about how when we're together we could do this. We could go to this place. We could have this experience. I look forward to being with you in this kind of environment. Something that bridges to the time when closeness will be very available. Another thought is, get really detailed and specific in the things you say. That is very helpful. Like, compare the difference between I love you so much, you are excellent, and I love it when you tell those dad jokes that are so ridiculous and they take forever and no one is as corny as you, right? Or I love the way your slippers make that squeaky noise in the morning, or I love when you boil the kettle for me at breakfast. Like, things that are about noticing that person specifically as opposed to just sort of generalities really make a big difference. Sometimes people will write in a love letter, I knew you were the one when I heard you snort when you were laughing, or I knew you were the one when this happened, right? So something that zeroes in on that feeling, particular connection you have with your sweetheart. And then another thought is, when in doubt, list it out. Just like top 10 things about you, or top 10 things I miss about you when we're apart, or 20 things that I want to do with you in the future, or, all kinds of like questions you have for them. List things out that give, a place of connection that make a bridge. And ask questions. If you want letters back, ask questions in the letters that you write. So think about questions you might have for them. We can work on this together as well. If you want to make a plan for how to make your communication sweet and loving while you're apart, our mental health and well-being team has 4 English-speaking counselors and 1 French language counselor. At the MFRC, we are ready to meet with you before you go, or if you're currently on a deployment and you're the partner at home and you want to have a chat about how it's going with communication, get in touch with us. We can be reached at 902-427-7788. You got this.